Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It has been a while since our last episode. I'm sure, like all of you, we needed a little bit of time to let what happened sink in. I'm not sure I'm ready still. James is a little more prepared than I, but we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the decision. We're going to talk about the front office comments, and we're going to talk about maybe some things that we need to do in the off season. All that and more on this episode of Swing and a Drive.
Swinging a drive. Get up, bar. He's done it again. A two-run shot in the first.
Hi guys, welcome back. Big conversation today. We have decided we need to cathart a little bit, and so we're getting some stuff off our chest. It took us a couple weeks to get there, but we're here. We want to know what you guys think. We're going to touch on some stuff today that I think you guys are going to be interested in. So when you get to that part, please definitely let us know what you think when those parts come up, because I think you'll be interested, and I think you're going to have a lot of your own thoughts on the matter. So let's get going. There's a lot to talk about here, Logan.
To talk about today.
All right, this is the main thing everybody's been talking about since the end of the season. For the last couple of weeks, we've had a chance to see everybody say their piece in the media, players, management, coaches.
Caveat.
They've all.
I haven't seen it all because I couldn't stomach watching anything.
I mean, there's a bunch of it I haven't watched. That's true. I've seen the Atkins press conference. I've seen some comments from players, and so we've stewed ourselves. We've been sitting, thinking, stewing, being angry. So for me, to cathart, this was a super disappointing playoff series again. And the decision to pull Barrios was ridiculous, with 47 pitches and rolling, and it's like John Schneider's not watching the baseball game.
Right? That's exactly the way I think.
Is that his decision? Did he do that on his own, Logan? Did he make that decision?
Did he make
to pull
the decision
him on his own?
Are we talking semantics here? Because yes, in the moment, he made the decision to pull Barrios and put in Kikuchi. And the way he did it, he knew he was making the wrong decision. That's why he instantly walked out of the dugout and called for Kikuchi. He didn't give Barrios even a chance to say anything. He's like, I got to do it this way or I'm going to let Barrios stay in. I'm sure of that.
Like, he didn't walk out there and say, like, how you feeling, kid?
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, there was no like halfway out, put up the left hand.
Right.
He stepped out of the dugout, give me the guy.
Yeah.
This is we're making this. This is a premeditated decision. This is a move. This has nothing to do with how Barrios is pitching and everything to do with the preconceived plan by the analytics department. And the managers, they were involved.
Preconceived and ill-conceived. Like,
ill-conceived,
so the genesis of that decision, right, was it was to change the handedness of the pitcher so that the Minnesota Twins would have to change some of their hitters, which would bring some of their better hitters out of the game in favor of the other side of the plate. So he brought in the left-handed pitcher, and immediately they scored without having to make the major changes to their lineup.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, all of the momentum, Minnesota could pick and choose how they wanted to deploy.
Backfired more.
It was this is the best way, the most succinct way to say it. It could not have backfired harder than it did. Like, and quite frankly, if you're the baseball gods sitting around watching the playoff game, and you got your popcorn, and John Schneider
and
does
going,
that. I smite you. I smite you.
Right?
like, of course I would. If I was baseball gods would have been so mad.
Just felt the energy of 30 million Blue Jays fans across the country, and went, oh, we better do something about that.
Yeah, smite. Yeah, and we saw the reaction from the players. Bo Bichette ran up to Barrios and just was like, I swear, into his ear, like, man, I'm sorry, dude. I can't believe that happened. Like, every
It's
one of the
totally
players on the
like, hey,
field.
we got your back. This is not about you. Like
Yeah,
all that sort of stuff.
yeah. You know this isn't about you. You know this is from somewhere else. This is
Yeah.
stupid. This is. They all said it to him before Schneider got to him. Like, and you like,
So Kevin Barker calls the front office the Khakis.
yeah.
And I have taken it, but I use it as a completely derogatory term. For me, Khakis is like the worst thing you could say.
Because
And
you
that's what I
don't
call them
know
now.
baseball. Yeah.
Yeah, because you know nothing about, you've never been on the field. You've never been in the game and understanding that there's more to sports than numbers.
I go back to that Clint Eastwood movie. Is it The Rookie? No, not The Rookie.
Trouble with the curve.
Trouble with the Curve. I always forget the title of that. Where he hears the ball hit the catcher's mitt and just is like, I like that. That's right. Or here's the bat off the ball off the bat, and
Yeah.
yep, that sounded true. And those characters, those type of characters, really actually exist in the real world. They watch
Wow.
baseball and they get it. They understand what they're seeing when they watch.
I gotta be honest. I thought one of those characters' names was Don Mattingly. And I thought he was gonna carry a little more clout in the dugout, to be honest.
That's interesting.
Um,
Yeah.
and really I just kind of saw him just sit back and realize, like, they had Schneider would bounce stuff off of him. Obviously, you'd see those conversations happening. Um, and Mattingly's a pro, so maybe you just never saw the reaction at all. But I just think that, like, his voice wasn't heard as much as it should have been.
I would like to know what his reaction was in the, like, even in the planning meeting, because we know that top brass, the Khakis, as you say, and
Well, that's the thing.
the game
So
managers were
Shapiro says he was okay with it. That's what he said in his press conference. He even said Mattingly's name.
right. Okay, so that I want to hear from Mattingly.
Me too.
I would love to know
I think we'll
candidly, like somehow candidly, how
I think
he
somebody
really
will
feels.
get him in the off season.
Maybe we can make him our first guest.
Yeah, Don Mattingly.
That'd be a pretty big get.
Might get some views after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody will get him and talk to him and ask him, like, what were your thoughts on this?
Yeah. How did that conversation go?
And
Yeah.
who knows if he'll speak candidly or not. I don't know how many more years he's in contract with the Blue Jays.
I really need to know the truth of this situation. I wish I could be a fly on the wall of that conversation and say, like, did anybody bring up the like possibility in that, say, hey, so if he's pitching out of his mind, and he's like just shutting him down, what should we do then? Like,
and I was just gonna say, where's Pete Walker in all of this? Because I haven't mentioned him once here yet. In all of this, we haven't talked about him once in this whole decision.
And we got a lot of love for Pete Walker in general.
And
but
he is going to go to battle for his guys every single time.
Yeah.
We know that. We've seen him do it. So where was he in this situation?
Yeah.
Was he so pissed off that he was down in the freaking thing? Or was he just standing back there, not saying a word, bald head, just a blazing red, because he's just can't deal with this terrible decision? Like, none of them are going to come out and throw themselves like throw their careers away over it.
Yeah.
So they're not going to come out and say something like, I'm so sick of the stupid front office decisions that get made, blah, blah, blah.
They're going to be judicious with their comments for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like the front office, apparently.
And that part, I think that's the thing of all of it, aside from the decision and the emotion of that game, as we've watched the fallout in the last couple of weeks, that's the moment that made me the most mad. When Ross Atkins said, I found out about it when you did.
Yeah.
Or when it was on TV.
That was basically what he said. Yeah.
And that made me irate. Even the broadcast crew, Buck and Dan were both confused, and they both called it. They were like, Kikuchi's down there warming. He's going to be coming into this. Is he really coming into this gate? Like
Yeah.
they were both on it, and they said that This is like they said in the broadcast. This is a managed. This is a full team decision that
Yep.
brought this about. Not this isn't just Schneider off the cuff.
No
decided
manager and
this.
pitching manager go, hey, what do you think? Like, let's put Kikuchi up in the bullpen and we'll make this decision because we'll get their lefties to come out of the game. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's do
yeah,
that.
yeah. Even if our
Barrios has only
guys,
thrown 47 pitches.
yeah,
This is a
yeah,
great idea. Let's do
yeah,
it.
that's a really good idea. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you're onto something. That's
Like,
yeah.
it's the most ridiculous idea to think that they thought that up on the spot. Hey, we're going to try this. And for Ross Atkins to say that he was not involved in the decision is an outright lie.
Yeah, it's an outright lie.
And in fact, I think at least 3 of the people that asked questions in the Shapiro press conference referenced it and said, use the words, which I don't believe for a second.
Really?
So, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So,
That's good.
like,
I like that.
even the other side of it to me is like, even if that is the 100% truth and Atkins had absolutely nothing to do with this decision, you're the boss.
Yeah, buck stops with me.
Shapiro kind of took ownership of it.
Yeah.
He said, all those bad decisions ultimately come down to me because I'm the boss.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's a great way of taking some ownership. But Atkins is Schneider's boss. Atkins is everybody below Shapiro's boss.
Did everybody else not take some of the blame on themselves for the way things happen? Like every player has got I didn't get the hit I needed to get. We could have done better on the field. Well, we this and that. Like it wasn't because John Schneider pulled this pitcher, that's why we lost. Our team is garbage. Blah, blah. Like none of the players I've seen the interviews of were like they might have questioned the decision in their interviews, but none of them went, this is garbage.
Yeah.
They all owned their part in the loss.
Well, right. Well, because the players, I mean, you got to score runs to win. So doesn't matter who's pitching. You got to score runs to win.
Yeah.
So they can't really say too much about their performance versus the manager's performance. But I think lots of guys like Schneider still. The players like Schneider. He's a player's manager.
He's a really likable guy.
But once in a while, he toes the Khakis line. And it's the worst possible times, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. I'm okay with Schneider coming back. I hope he learns his lessons in the off season and mixes in the analytics with the actual watching of the baseball. And use your analytics a little bit more in the regular season if you want, because a lot of teams are doing that. But the emotion and the situations, the way it goes
in the regular season.
In the postseason though, situational awareness, it changes the way players perform. It changes the way things happen, and I don't think that your stats are that indicative of what you're going to see in the playoffs.
I agree 1,000% with that. You can't manage the game the same, which, I mean, they obviously understood because they didn't manage the same. They made some bonkers moves.
Yeah.
But you also have to watch the game. Like we've said already, you've got to be watching the game. You've got to be paying attention to what's going on. And I always thought of John Schneider as a guy who would say no to management when the time came. And I'm a little disappointed to find out that that's not entirely the case.
Yeah. Well, maybe this is the lesson, right? Maybe this is the lesson that I really hope next year he comes in and this is like he's more of the general.
Takes control.
Yeah.
Where do they go? Where do they go and get a leader? A clubhouse leader that you can have for several years.
I think Bo is going to take a step this year. and say, screw it. You
I
know
think you
what?
and I have very, very different opinions of Bo Bichette.
Well, my
Not in
thought
his
is
abilities, but in as a person.
he keeps making steps towards being like the man every year. So if it's trending that way, I'll extrapolate
Hmm.
out and say he's gonna find his way to being the man, but it's probably gonna be like he's gonna leave, go somewhere else and be the man somewhere else because we're
So
not gonna pay him. But
he will not be a Blue Jay for life. He already doesn't want to be a Blue Jay. And the second he hits free agency, he will walk out that door and never look back.
and you'll never get him on camera saying that until he's no
Never.
longer a
Because
Blue Jay.
he's good at that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Because, he's had a dad in the major leagues. He understands how to deal with the media. You'll never hear him say that. But his demeanor on the field, the way he answers some questions, this is the vibe I
Yeah,
get from
I
him.
don't know. I think he's just a bit more of a stoic, and I think that it comes across in that way. But I
Mm.
get what you're seeing
Stoic dudes
for sure.
aren't flashy dudes. So I don't see him as a stoic at all. He wants to be a good ball player, so he's always going to be the best ball player he can be on the field.
Yes.
So, that's great. That's great. And we're going to get that for, what is it, 2 more seasons? But after that,
At least.
I think that Jays can offer him a Shohei Ohtani contract, and he's going to think he deserves more. He certainly thinks he's better than he is. Not that he's not good, but he thinks he's better than he is.
Yeah, I think you're supposed to though. Like I think that you're not going to get anybody. Like it's like when
Right.
when they ask a professional quarterback, "Are you an elite quarterback?" And what is the quarterback supposed to say? Like,
Right.
"No, I'm not
I
elite."
I
Like,
understand that. What I mean is like Bo Bichette thinks he's the best shortstop in the league,
yeah, there's lots of pro guys that
and
think he is too, or
mm,
would rather have like he's their first choice to play with. Like Altuve said that. There's a couple of guys that have said that
yeah,
between. So I mean,
on the field, I think he's the guy you want. Off the field, I don't think he's the guy you want.
yeah,
If
I don't know.
if it comes
Yeah.
down to we got to keep Vladdy or we got to keep Bo, I'd take Vladdy. I think
Well,
it ultimately costs you less in the long run, and you get more for your money.
well, the return if you traded Bo, the return would be crazy good,
Right?
crazy good.
Crazy good.
Yeah, we would look so stupid that year. Like, why did we do this? I mean, it'd be like if they traded Shohei
You look as
this
stupid as the
year.
Angels not trading Shohei
Yeah,
this
yeah.
year.
If they traded Shohei
You
this
know,
year, every single, not every, but a bunch of Angels fans would be like, "God
like
damn it! Why did you do
frankly, if
that?"
we traded Bo at the trade deadline in 2024, no, 2025,
2025. Yeah.
then they'll have like a year and a half of control with Bo. We would get the best possible return for him. And if the front office pulled that move off, I would give them a huge bump in respect. Because that's a hard thing to do, but it's the smart thing to do.
Well, so a year and a half of control would be next year, trading
Next.
him next year, trade deadline.
We have him till 26 or 25.
2025 is last year under
Oh
contract.
yeah, okay. So trading him next year with trade deadline then.
So like
I meant
to me, no. To me, no.
they won't do it. There's
He's
no
yeah,
chance they'll do it.
He's 25 years old.
They absolutely should do it.
Like, if you think that your window is open, if you feel like your window is open,
I feel that
this is one of the, like he's in a tough. They're in a tough spot because they're like
it's
when you look
totally
at it,
a tough spot.
they're gonna be right in the same freaking spot as they were with Otani because he's gonna be 27 years old. He's going to be making 17 million in 2025. He's probably going to continue to be one of the top guys in the league.
And they're going to do the exact same thing the Angels did. They're going to let him go. We're not even going to get a compensation pick for it.
Well, and that's the thing, right? So it's like you have to be like, is my window? Do we have a chance and make a big splash? Do you throw so much money at him that you can't afford anybody else, or do you try and get something for him I can't even believe we're actually having a talk about Bo as a possible trade chip, but
I
I
don't.
guess.
I don't.
Like
I think he's a huge possible trade chip. I think it's very, very possible trade chip.
at 25, maybe. I don't know. I think it's well, I guess
I
we'll see what
think
the contracts are,
there's
but
enough of it. I think there's enough of an inkling in the front office of the same thought that I have, that at free agency he's not coming back no matter what we throw at him. That if we don't trade him, minimum 2025 deadline, you wouldn't get as good of a return because you don't get a year and a half out of him, whoever he goes to.
yeah, he becomes a rental for them.
He
Yeah.
becomes a rental, so you don't get quite
Yeah.
the haul on prospects, but you're still going to be able to get a couple of prospects, 3 and maybe a major leaguer. So I don't know. That's why I'm saying if they do it, I will have respect because it's a hard
If
thing to
to,
do and it's a smart thing to do.
to me, if they do it,
Do I think they'll do it? No.
if they do it next year, that signals rebuild.
It could, yeah.
I don't know. I don't see how it doesn't
How
because
does not getting Chapman back this year not signal rebuild? It's the same situation. We're gonna let Chapman.
I don't know. Like
He's the best
it's
position we've had in years.
I agree with that. Yeah, it's just in terms of the core, right? You're because when you build a team, you're gonna have whatever handful of guys that are your core that you build around, and then you fill in all the spots with veterans or trade
Right.
guys or rookies or whatever.
So do we have a core right now that you consider the core?
Well, I was considering Vladdy, Bo, Varsho, and
There's 3 guys
Springer
there.
is in there, but he's too old to be like young core building guy.
Yeah.
So like it's Vladdy, Bo, and Varsho, and Jansen. I would still put in the core.
Yeah.
You
So
don't have
I put the 3 of them in. My views on Bo keep me from putting him in as the core, as a core group, because I just don't think he's gonna be there.
It's interesting. I'm interested. I would like to know how everybody feels about Bo. This is kind of controversial to me. So
Oh, this is a hot
really,
take.
like everybody,
This is a
yeah,
hot
this is
take.
super.
No
this
one is going to like what I have to
This
say
is
about Bo Bichette.
singeingly, yeah, it's very hot. I want some action on. If you watch this video and you're
listen
this
to
far
the
into
words.
it,
I don't not like Bo Bichette. I just don't think he's going to be a Blue
Please?
Jay for much longer.
give your answers to as to why Logan hates Bo so much in the comments below. No, no. I mean, I think it could. It's a big. It's a lot of talk in the off season could be uh, done about this particular subject.
If we can, one of these, Aurelvis Martinez, Addison Barger, Otto Lopez,
Right. Yeah.
Schneider, Clement, can become a major leaguer, then I think it's an even easier decision,
Yeah.
right? Like, we just let Bo walk, but they'll just let him walk. They won't make the trade. I think it'll be it'll be a missed decision.
Okay, so like next year, season's going fairly well. Trade deadline's coming up. You look like you're probably a playoff team again. Um, I don't see how you pull the trigger on a
You
Bo
don't.
trade, right? Like
You
it's so, and then you're into 2025.
Yeah.
And so then you're like, well, do we get the value we could? So you don't because your window is open. I think that's the thing, right? That makes it really hard. Is like the Angels, their window wasn't open. Like they don't have a.
No.
Maybe you say the window's open because you have Otani and Trout on your team. I don't think you say that for them. Like the Jays have been good.
So for me, in 2024, if they're adding at the deadline, you don't do it. Right? If in 2025, if you're close, you probably still do it.
Maybe.
Whether you're close or not, because you want to be able to keep the window open. This is the thing. Blue Jays are a wanting to be window open all the time team now, right? They don't want to have a closed window. We don't want to be rebuilding again in the next decade or whatever. So
yeah, you want 4 and 5 year rebuilds.
So you're like the trade you make has got to be for a serviceable major leaguer and a couple minor leaguers,
Yeah.
right? Like And are you going to get that in 2025? Maybe not. Probably not. You might get a young major leaguer and a single minor leaguer, depending on what the needs are at that time.
Yeah.
I just think you got to trade him and get some value out of the guy, because I don't think he's going to want to stay as a Blue Jay. So
What if you found
letting
out
him walk is just stupid. It's a waste.
What if you discovered though that your assessment that you
if
feel
I'm
like
completely
if
wrong,
you're like totally off base and he's just is more stoic,
and he's 100% Blue Jay and wants to be a Blue Jay for life,
yeah,
then build a team around the fucking guy, because he's good.
Yeah.
And
so
do it now.
Your whole opinion on this matter is just because you really feel like he has he's keeping the Blue Jays at arm's length and he's not committed to that. That's fair. All right.
I don't think he wants to be a Blue Jay after he doesn't have to be a Blue Jay. And I think the Blue Jays need to catch that and realize that and make money off that, or make an opportunity out of it, instead of just letting him walk as a free agent.
Okay, that's fair. What do you guys think? That's a really this is I think something we've just discovered and touched on that we did not plan to. That I think it's a lot. I think it could. I want to know what you guys all think. I really do. This is really interesting.